Bonjour, Ireland Dignicas, and welcome to this overview of our Week 9 learning plan. We'll begin this episode here in our stream page. This is accessible to our students via the Google Classroom and is the home base for lots of important information. Any important documents will be sent to you in the email that accompanies this video. You'll see that we have a new newsletter that we'll be going through here in just a moment. My contact information, please include your name when texting or leaving voicemails so I know who I'm talking to, and also the student name as well. You can see scrolling down our Friday from last week that I'll be taking down. And you can see a few of the most recent weeks at a glance and a couple of the older newsletters, breakfast menu, school calendar, those documents. So remind all of those things you're more than encouraged to take a look at with your student. So let's get into some of our documents today. The first one is the newsletter. Just a reminder, homework is a regular part of our middle school experience prep, and to do that, they're assigned work on Tuesday and Thursdays. The expectation is they bring it back the next day. In addition, any classwork that is not finished in the course of the day should be taken home and completed. If you have any questions, please email me. Next Wednesday will be a half day due to professional development for staff. Students will be dismissed at noon and lunch will be served. Students who normally ride to the bus to the gym after school should be picked up at SC8 at noon. We'll come back up here to Duolingo in a moment. Weather changes. Michigan weather is going to Michigan. Welcome to a state where you need the heater in the morning, the air conditioner by noon, and probably the heater by 3. So please make sure students are bringing the correct clothing. Probably dressing in layers is ideal where they can take sweatshirts on and off. It's not a bad idea to leave a sweatshirt at school for those chilly mornings. Some of the things we're learning in this week are continuing on division strategies and its relationship to multiplication. We do have a number of online sources of information that they're more than encouraged to take a look at and use to practice. Language arts, we're looking at elements of a story, focusing a lot on folk tales and legends. Social studies, we're kind of wrapping up our section on cultural regions. We'll start looking into the West African kingdoms, and then next after that will be the beginning of colonization. Science, we're wrapping up Web of Life next week. Believe it or not, the quarter is over at the end of next week. More information on that later. Our language corner features 15, Madaswe Shinanen, 16, Madaswe Shinagudwaswe, a fish Gagoon, crane Ajijat, and deer Wawashkeshi. So vocabulary coming to us from the Ojibwe People's Dictionary. Couple other tidbits before I come over to talk about Duolingo. The Haunt on the Hill is Friday, so tomorrow, if you're watching this video as the day it's recorded, or today, if you're looking at it on Friday, going from 6 to 10 at the campgrounds. And this document will be sent home to you as well. There's also, and this comes via tribal email, the logo contest for the 39th annual powwow. There's a committee. You see our theme right there. If you're interested in doing this, or your students interested in doing this, this information is available. I have a copy of this. I could be more than happy to send it along to you. So speaking of Duolingo, before we get to the learning plan, each week we're going to focus on, I'll show you where I'm talking from here, some of the online content so that I can kind of let you as parents and guardians know what we're talking about. And each of the newsletters, we will cover a new one. This week, I'm going to feature Duolingo, and you can see the web address right there. The Duolingo is a self-directed language app. We have a classroom account that we set up. The students can choose their own language that they'd like to learn. This is not to replace Anishinaabe, but it's just another area of interest. It was originally actually brought to me by students several years ago, and it's an app that I use. about a 904-day streak today. Woohoo! There, it can be downloaded on a mobile device. It's a free download. There are ways to pay for unlimited lives and things like that. But it's still a pretty cool app, and one that the students really seem to enjoy. I'm going to show you what it looks like briefly here. And this is my teacher account. I don't do a whole lot with this one. This is not the one that I do all the time. And I picked French for a moment. So a student would click start, and it's basic phrases. It opens up like this. Which one of these is one? Well, I mean, they can see that, and that's got a number one there. And they'll tell you the pronunciation. They get credit for it. Cat,
Le chat.
And then they would keep on going with this through, and then earn some XP, which we expect about 25 XP in the course of a week. But it's really cool. I'll leave that lesson for now. And they can choose from a variety of languages. And so like the new course includes all of these languages. Some of them are being just added. Like I noticed one or two that weren't there the last time I actually perused this. We got a few that are a little bit on the silly side as well. But we are starting to see some with indigenous connections such as Navajo and others here. And also you could learn Klingon. So there's that. Oh, I know what we did not cover. Sorry about that. Let me bring this right back to a share. You can tell we don't edit this with professional equipment because we're right back to the screen. This is our week 9 at a glance. And you can see the story that we're looking at. It's the last week of the quarter, so we want to make sure that we're getting everything wrapped up here. Another chance on a narrative to earn that 3. We'll be completing chapter 3 in math and moving on to chapter 4. We're completing unit 1 in science. Social studies will be featuring on the West African kingdoms. Math review and enrichment is heavily based, except for ratios, is based on wrapping up the end of the first quarter. We will spiral through our math curriculum, so we're not going to forget place values. We'll come back to it during the course of this. Tech, pretty basic week. You can see some of the, when there's educational block opportunities. I did add a note this week, suggested pacing for independent web tests. With the new checklist, they may say, you know what, I want to get all of my reading A to Z's done, or I want to get my handwritings done. And that is fully acceptable. And then you can see what we're doing in small group. And I'll wrap back to this lovely beach scene, which is clearly not mid-Michigan. Sorry, I wish. That looks nice. Tropical and gusty instead of rain and gusty. If you have any questions on this week, I encourage you to please reach out to me at mireland@sagchipschool.net or mireland@sagchip.org. Hope everyone has a great weekend. Don't forget the half day on Wednesday, and we'll be wrapping up the first quarter. It's impossible to believe that we're almost a quarter of the way through the year. Hope everyone has a great weekend. Miigwech, Minwa, Bamapi.